Yes, good evening once again. And this week we are back again with the segment which we started last week, the week ahead. Uh, okay,
Okay.
yeah, sorry. So this week we are actually expecting a volatile week,
Yeah,
uh, but it
it
turned
has
out to
turned out to
be
be a very, very flat week in the
week,
market.
at least for Indian markets. Like it was a pretty flat week.
Yes,
So like if I have to start with,
especially if you consider the trade war situation which is going on.
correct.
Everyone had expected that the global markets would be volatile and
This is the
everything.
chart.
And incidentally, the global markets were volatile this week. In fact, the Dow Jones chart, which Ritesh is loading on screen right now.
If you see, we were
Yeah,
like last week, we told that this is a very important resistance level, and you can clearly see there was a gap down opening and there was a follow
there
up
was a
down
continuation.
continuation.
Now, such
So,
a similar situation was seen in several global markets.
right. So, if you see one more thing, like just in case, Janak, if you don't mind, if I use the trend line,
Sure, definitely.
I just saw something. Is it broken?
Oh, yeah. It seems. It's like a channel which seems to have broken.
Yeah. So that is
You can make the channel too.
okay. So that is something which I noticed, and yeah, it is.
Yeah. So now has broken off a channel. So now it's gonna create a new range to play with, and
Correct.
obviously the range is gonna comprise of lower prices.
Correct. So that is something right now that has happened. So there is an impact of trade war right away. You can see
Yeah.
again, like trade war. Janak, you have like some pointers on trade war which you
So
want to
I
talk
do
about.
have a few pointers on the trade war. So last week, as we mentioned, that Mr. Trump put a lot of restrictions on Chinese imports in the US. Okay, so not to be left behind. Uh, so if China, okay, and if I'm US, and if I say, okay, I'm not going to import stuff from you, I'm going to levy a very heavy tax on stuff that I import from you, what would your reaction be?
Uh, my reaction would be like, अच्छा बच्चू अभी मैं भी तुमको छोड़ूंगा नहीं मैं भी
Exactly. So
टॉक्स
China did a tit for tat situation. Okay, they actually levied equivalent surcharges and all on US imports in China. But what they did
What
this
exactly
week,
did they import? That is a question, right?
we discussed that last week.
Right, right.
That from the US they imported cars, they were importing dry fruits, etc. So now the idea is that this week China went a step further. What they did was they started wooing foreign businesses from other countries. So they are of the opinion that okay, US, you are not the only one.
Correct,
We are going to open our doors to make life easier for other nations too.
correct, correct.
And Jinping actually made a statement saying that the great door of China's will the great door of China, which has opened, will not close, and it will only get bigger and more open. So this was the exact phrase that he used. Now,
Okay.
so keeping in mind the trade war, the global markets were extremely volatile. So if you could just show the charts of
Dow
other,
Jones, we already
yeah,
showed them. Let's show them DAX. Uh, DAX
yeah,
is,
show them DAX and also then let's have a look at Shanghai.
see, DAX. This is weekly chart. DAX. Now,
DAX
gone.
gone.
CAC.
Let's you're keeping the suspense for the last, I think.
Okay, so this is
This is a company. This is
company.
not
Sorry,
CAC.
sorry.
This is the wrong chart.
I was like, क्या हो गया उधर?
Yeah, the look on your face was
CAC 40, I
marvelous.
think it's CAC 40. Yeah.
CAC 40, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Okay, see again.
CAC has
Discount
taken a cut.
card, right?
And
So, do you want anything else?
yeah, yeah, I want to see Shanghai. I'm like dying to see Shanghai.
Shanghai Composite.
Shanghai Composite. There we
Wow.
go. There we go.
So now let us show them like we have actually like taken this with like what do you want to say? We were actually short
Yeah, we
on
were on a short position in Nifty, and
And-
Nifty, to our surprise, did not go down.
Oh wow.
It just held.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is which going is. So that
Yeah.
means Nifty is very strong, right?
Yeah. Nifty is trying to shrug off this trade war
So Nifty
situation.
is like कुछ होता नहीं है यार हम लोग तो खड़े हैं भाई.
Yeah, that's not all. That's not all. I would like to add something here
Right.
that India has also now again beefed up its own foreign trade rules, and they have levied surcharge on imports of walnuts, phosphoric acids, apples, etc. Stuff which we import from US.
US. तो इंडिया भी ट्रेड वॉर में उतर गया
Yeah.
है.
So India actually has been doing these practices over the last 2-3 years, where
right.
they have levied all these surcharges before the anti-dumping duty and all that stuff. But this is like just
So
Yeah.
one more thing, like if you see over here, Nifty was wow. अरे यार थोड़ा सा 0.4 के लिए बच गया.
yeah, it should have been zero. You know,
Zero.
like yeah, we start off the week where we were last week.
Zero,
Yeah.
Sensex 0.19, nothing. But Bank Nifty 33%. I think we discussed last time as
Yeah,
well.
it has a big weightage.
33%, 1.32 up. Okay, you mean that? Okay, Bank Nifty was
So-
up. That means Bank Nifty had a good week.
Right.
No, the problem was that 1.32 is today.
Yeah. So
That is Aaj
yeah.
ki. Again. So this is something which is there. Bank Nifty is 1.32 up. Okay, you will be wondering कि Bank Nifty 1.32 up. मतलब banking stock चले
Yeah,
होंगे.
banks are doing a good
Good
job.
job.
Let's have a look at the.
Let them show. Let us see
Yeah.
all the bank charts itself, right? So, okay, let's see. Okay, Axis Bank up hai.
No,
Okay.
the weekly. Show the
Okay,
weekly
sorry,
chart.
weekly.
Yeah,
So Axis Bank is not up,
it's down.
It's down.
Or flat.
right? So these are Nifty bank components.
Right.
Bank Baroda has taken a beating.
Yeah.
PSU banks, so yeah, you can say that.
Federal Bank
Again,
down flat.
so HDFC, ICICI में छोड़ रहा हूँ.
IDFC Bank.
IDFC flat.
No,
Or
it's
you can say
down
negative.
actually. It
Yeah.
gave up last
Doji,
week's scheme.
so IndusInd also
IndusInd flat
flat,
and down. Kotak down.
down, PNB down, RBL down, SBI down, Yes Bank, it's
Marginally
minor
up. Yeah.
up, yes.
So
So
Yes Bank is your
up.
first up bank so far, and now we'll have a look at HDFC.
HDFC Bank is up,
Yeah.
and ICICI Bank is up.
Right.
So Chanda Kuttar going on a holiday is good for ICICI Bank.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so now you will be see only of two banks.
Yeah.
Two banks.
It's because of two banks. The entire bank nifty is up.
Up.
Also, this bank nifty has a 33% weightage in the nifty,
right.
and nifty is marginally up by 0.04%.
Percent.
So,
what? So Nifty is strong, right?
yeah, do the maths, people.
Okay, so now one thing like Janak was trying to say, so Nifty Private Bank again, if you see, it is up.
Yeah,
Because of only two
private bank
banks.
index up obviously because of just these two banks.
Two banks. And Nifty
PSU bank
banks,
index, right,
it is down.
is languishing.
Okay,
There
so
we
you
go.
would be wondering,
There we
okay, let us see.
Not only languishing, if you look at this chart, Ritesh, what do you feel? What's this going to do next week?
So
Right.
minimum 2,840 is what I feel.
Yeah,
So 100 points fall is something which
from
will fall.
here, yeah,
So this is a range. This is a top end of the range, 3,500 and 3,053.
Yeah.
And this is the bottom end of the range.
that's 2,700. And
And
the
again-
level pointed out by Ritesh is the mid-range support that we are
Yes,
looking at.
We are looking at.
Yeah.
So again, this is something which is there. On Excel, if you want to see like what happened, so Nifty had a not so positive, but had like non-event kind of a week. If you see sectoral basis,
Yeah, sectoral indices,
indices.
they have gone crazy
So-
this week.
So this is week on week.
The blue lines.
And anything up over on this side is negative, this side is positive.
Right.
So reality down by 2%. Nifty Pharma actually consolidated after a big rally. We discussed Nifty Pharma had a big rally of 10%. So
Yeah, so this week
there
they
was a
were
consolidation.
muted gains.
again,
flat.
this today Nifty Pharma was up. Again, Sun
Right,
Pharma and all the
right.
pharmaceutical stock was up. So primarily Nifty had a negative week only because
Nifty
of
Pharma had a negative
negative
week.
week,
Yeah.
but only because of today's rally, they are showing
It's
some kind of
surfaced
struggle.
again, but then I think it will consolidate and then probably continue further.
Correct.
Yeah.
Metals surprisingly had a negative week last week. We
Yeah.
thought that this could be an opportunity to buy in metals,
Yeah.
but then again, there is nothing that is happening over there. Media down, IT down 2.44%.
Right.
Okay, so again, why IT is down? Because we'll talk about dollar
Yeah,
index.
let's open dollar now only. Let's
So
see
dollar
what dollar is.
had this kind of a week where it
Oh.
was like flat, and this is a very big resistance for dollar.
Yeah, this is a very interesting
Like,
chart.
we had one session
Yeah.
in bonds market. We discussed
This this is like the resistance level right
this is
from
mother of all resistance.
Yeah, this is like the mother of all resistances.
MOR.
MOR.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mordor.
So
Right.
this is something which is there, and at this level, it is still hovering. RBI again, we mentioned last week, try to intervene and try to sell at this level. So this is something which is
Yeah,
interesting.
it'll be very interesting to see that if they move further down from these levels, I think it could probably signify an end in the uptrend of the dollar.
Probably
But
not as well.
we
Yeah.
need to wait for price confirmation.
So Nifty IT, that is a similar kind of a chart you can see that happened in dollar. This is something which is there. Again,
yeah.
Nifty IT is the sector which is performing. Pharma only picked up last to last week.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Nifty IT is the only sector which is performing.
Yeah, yeah.
And that also had some kind of a consolidation. Again, this is a international related sector. So international stocks like indexes were given a negative.
They were beaten up last
So,
week, so the
obviously,
sector took a hitting
so
too.
sector
So
hitting too. That is something which is there. So yeah, overall that was the impact. Coming back over here, all the other things are pretty flat.
pretty flat.
Yeah, yeah, pretty flat. So this is something which is there. Now what we wanted to give you an overview is like everything, like Nifty specifically. This is the third week of no movement at all.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, ridiculous.
Ridiculous. मतलब कि trader को तो मार ही डाला.
Yeah, so all the derivative people, the option sellers, they are partying at least right now.
Option sellers की मजा है.
Yeah,
And option buyers.
people who buy calls and puts, we all died.
Okay, why?
Yeah.
Why? Because in derivatives or in options, you need volatility, and which is not clearly
It's not there. It's shrunk.
So,
Can we have a look at India VIX if it
again, India
depicts anything on the contrary? Or
like I have my reservation on India VIX, but still,
I know you don't like it that much, but
So-
yeah, it's pretty muted too. You know.
it's always muted. Like
Right.
it's always muted. So
Yeah.
nothing.
Maybe on the daily, nothing. It's like a winding coil. It's like a jack in the box. It's like
Someday,
a
like we will give you a better
yeah.
alternative to India.
Look
VIX.
at these last few things. It's like a spring which is curling in a box. You know.
But India VIX is always like this, Janak.
Yeah,
Right?
but then look what happens when the spring bursts.
so you're expecting a burst in the spring.
Yeah, sooner or later.
So find out
Hopefully
what
sooner
happens
than
when
later.
there's a burst in the spring. So this is an evident. Find out what happened during this point of time, the month of Feb.
Right.
So find out what happened when there's a burst in the spring. Okay. Again, Nifty. Today was the day which was again a good day for Nifty. Otherwise, Nifty is pretty flat, and we are also expecting a fall in Nifty. We might be biased because
Yeah, now that we are already short on the Nifty, we might be biased on our view. But
that is what it
the
is. Like,
truth of the matter is that Nifty
we
is
have given you
pretty flat right now.
we have given you evidence as well, like
Yeah.
all the other
Also,
sectors.
let's have a look at Nifty Media, because if you have a look at the Excel sheet that we have looked, okay, media,
over year till date is only 2.75%.
yeah, and there is I don't know, but there is a correlation between media and the election.
Correct, right.
Yeah.
Why SQ?
Because probably that's the only time people watch the news.
Probably it's the only time when government wants you to see something. In the
Oh,
news.
yeah.
पैसा तो वहाँ से
Right,
आता है.
right. So the media sector falling, actually, maybe over the long term, it's a very good level that it's moving towards.
But it's sideways, Janak. Like,
Right, right. But it's
let's
moving
see.
towards that level, like let's give our listeners some kind of juice out here.
Like, it's broken side. Like it is moving sideways, and it has,
It's
uh,
broken the trend
but
line.
it's sideways.
Okay, okay.
So it's not like really like you can bank on
I
that.
was hoping that
No.
it would be at the support,
Like this
but
is something which has
yeah,
happened in silver as well.
yeah.
Silver, right?
Silver has done the opposite.
So let us finish this. Like we'll do you
Yeah.
want to add anything on a weekly basis?
No, no. I just thought that maybe it
There was
might be
one
at that
thing which we were
level.
like negative. There was one sector which we felt that could be a sector to look for if you want to go on short. Uh, do you remember which sector it was? Is it reality? I don't remember right now. No, like let's. Okay, fine.
No, no,
Doesn't
no.
matter.
Reality, we remember discussing that it's
What it
oversold.
was FMCG.
Yeah, FMCG.
Right. So
It's
we
a
can
flat
see.
game
So you see this RSI is falling, and
from
this is
overbought levels on
uh,
weekly.
and this is something which is there, which is pretty flat.
Yeah, it's an
So
abominably flat weekly chart.
like for how much days? Like from 27th April,
Yeah,
third week,
yeah,
third year month. Sorry, it's
yeah.
flat. So
But yeah, I don't know. I would still be scared to short this.
no, I mean price confirmation is not there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so again, like if you go on to the commodity segment, so this is something which we love as well. Commodities. Not many people talk about commodities in India. So if you notice, commodities had like trade war
Completely negatively.
negative. Like कुछ भी positive में है ही नहीं.
Yeah,
And look at spot silver and spot gold. What I mean by spot gold is our
comex
COMEX prices.
prices.
These are commodity expense COMEX prices in US, and see 5% hit and 2.41% hit on gold. See
Right.
zinc 7.14%.
Zinc bad, copper bad.
Copper bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nikki baby, like being a little strong, it had a less
Yeah,
effective
yeah.
impact.
Nickel is still holding. I would
Correct.
call that is still holding on to its gains because
Gains.
check out its gains this year.
Yeah, we've discussed that. Okay, so going on to the chart perspective, like we wanted to talk about a little silver. Silver, yeah, silver. So this is the weekly chart of silver. If you notice this, just see over here, this is a long-term trend line. This was a downtrend that was there, and uh, just a second. Like this is pretty evident on monthly chart. So I'll just go on monthly chart and show
Yeah.
you the.
So ever since its high of 72,000 that it made, it has been locked in a downtrend.
Let's take this one. Now it's pretty good.
Yeah. And now
So
that level is being tested.
So this is something which is pretty good on this downtrend line, and we were expecting that this would break, but that has not happened as of now. So we were waiting that something would of that sort would happen. Again, there's a downtrend line coming from these levels as well. So you can clearly see that.
Uptrend line, yeah.
So uptrend line, sorry. You can clearly see there is a lot of fight going on right now. Okay, over these
Yeah,
levels.
it's a coil. It's a coil.
Coil. So we are waiting for this coil to come out, and
Yeah,
because we can expect an explosive move, because right now, like it's been high time, like this is monthly chart, and since last year, the whole year, this has been the situation.
yeah, yeah.
And even after dollar rise, this has not been impacted on silver.
Absolutely.
So dollar impact has also not been like the reason for it to go up.
Right.
So this is something which is there. We are keeping a close track of this. Let's see what happens. We will let you know what like in weeks ahead.
Let's have a look at aluminium.
Aluminium. Aluminium.
Yeah.
So aluminium again. This is monthly chart and weekly chart again.
Yeah.
You
So
can see
it had an amazing rise up maybe a couple of months back where it hit 178 levels.
Yeah, 179
Yeah,
levels. Right.
and that was because of trade wars and the tariff imposed by the US on
CO.
aluminum and steel.
So it was like we missed this rally, uh, which is something which
Yeah,
we
it
did.
just
Like we were not expecting itna bada rally, but still, like this is something which happened. And after this trade war situation, it is now kind of consolidating. Again, you can see it is moved out of this range. It was trading in a range for these many years from 133 to this level. It has moved out in a different range
right.
altogether. So keep a track on aluminium. In fact, base metals, we are kind of looking at base metals. So copper was one thing. Like again, it has corrected. So that is some we'll try. Okay, yeah, copper future. So this is something which is there. A big rally in copper. This is monthly chart. Okay, at the high points again.
There was resistance and it's not been able to sustain over there.
Right. So again, this is like let's go on to the weekly part again because of the trade war situation. They have been corrected. World market correction leads to
Which is actually very surprising.
correct.
Yeah.
So that is something within commodity segment which we want to like give little focus upon. So overall, this is something which is related to commodities. Coming to Indian equities,
So
we had an IPO just
yeah,
today was
so
the last day.
overall, if you want to say that we had a muted week,
Correct.
okay, in the Indian markets, not much to take back from that week. But for all the people who are listening there and trying to get a few bites about next week, one of the things that we had this week, which was going on, was that Rights Limited IPO. Okay, that got oversubscribed 67 times.
Yeah, 67 times,
Okay,
which was surprising.
out of which the retail subscription was 14%.
Again, there was a discount
Okay,
for retail clients.
yes, the
So
HNI subscription was 194 times, and the QIB subscription was 71 times.
so this is something which has happened.
Right.
Next week, there's another
So
IPO
for
lined
all
up.
those people who feel that okay, we missed out on this IPO, there's another IPO coming up next week. It's called Varroc Engineering. Okay. Now I do not know as yet. I've not checked out the prospectus of the IPO as yet to know whether it's worth investing or not. But here are a few details for all of you all. So the IPO is for 1950 crore rupees. The face
950
value
crores.
1950
19
crore.
sorry.
Okay, and the price band is 965 to 967. Very narrow price band.
But
Why
900.
did they even give a price band?
It's like
Yeah. So then there is
formality.
a face value of rupees 1. Okay.
1 rupee face value.
Yeah, that's another thing. So I would suggest all of you all that please look at the numbers before investing. It's a 1 rupee share which they are listing for 965
That
or
is steep, buddy.
967. It seems steep, but now the company has been clocking revenues to the tune of 10,000 crores over the last few years. So I don't know 1950 crores what valuation they're asking for, frankly, as of now. We will
Okay.
get back with that details maybe in the
So
course
there
of the
are
week.
few like this is something which I wanted to. So if you want to see, this is updated as on yesterday. So tomorrow they'll be updating the real results which Janak just
Yeah,
shared with you all.
what I shared I got from Chittorgarh.
Right.
Right? Now
So there are a few corporate actions also ahead in some stocks. So there are some splits that are happening in Uniply,
Avanti
Avanti
Feeds,
Feeds,
Container Corporation, Filatex,
yeah,
right? And we are seeing a bonus in New India Assurance
as
and
well as a split,
Jyoti
right?
Labs.
There's a split and a bonus in
So
month
in
in
Uniply and Avanti, you have split and bonus.
correct.
Remaining
So where do you get this information? You want BSC, go in corporate action segment, you will get to know what are the various
all of
corporate
these, yeah,
actions that are
absolutely.
there. So again, why corporate action? Because usually stocks are a little volatile on the corporate action basis. So if you want to know, you can check that as well.
Yeah.
So this
So
is what we would like
yeah,
to.
this is it with today, this week's session,
If
right?
you have to
And
ask us our point of view, go short.
so
Yeah.
again, we are biased people. So we are short on the market, but realistically speaking, the market is very flat.
again,
Very flat.
there is something which is happening, like our markets. Like every day, SGX Nifty is down by 50 points. Every day, it's
Every
50
day.
point,
And
70 point, and next day, bhav
yeah, it is because the global markets have had a bad week. It
Right.
is the Indian market which has actually shown some resilience, and
Those stocks.
actually the two stocks on the bank nifty, that is.
Right,
So
right. Again,
right,
like,
so it
yeah,
is again a
heavyweights.
few heavyweight stocks which are actually controlling, because if you were to flip through all the sectoral indices that we just did, and maybe if you could do it on your own in your own time, you would come to know that all the indices actually did see
They
a
have
very big
been
cut,
hammered.
as we saw in the Excel sheet,
They have been
right?
hammered.
They have
Like,
been they've had a bad week, right?
so again, like, so this is something which we want. Okay, have an overall perspective. Okay, one thing again, next week I'll try to bring in. I'll try to give you the relative strength as well, the
Yeah.
aspect of the market, like how
We
is the
will
relative
try
strength of the
to get
market,
in a few derivative data as well.
derivative data as well. So that will actually help you out in understanding what is related to the markets. So this is it
Yeah,
from our
and
end.
also next week is expiry week, so we will
Yeah.
talk about
Oh,
rollovers.
wow.
Yeah,
So derivative traders, all of them would be waiting for this week. Options are cheaper to trade, volatility expected.
volatility
So,
is dry.
like, like after 3 weeks, at least 8 week the volatility though.
Yeah, so
8 week.
yeah, so derivative traders are lying dead, like somewhere on the ground, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, including me.
including us. Yeah, and maybe we'll have a volatile week next week.
Correct. Chalo then. See ya.
Okay, on that note, we'll sign off today and see you next
See
week.
you next week. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
आज कुछ